Welcome to another real-time trade. In this video, I'll discuss several ways to manage the trade to empower you to design a trade management model that suits your unique mental wiring. This is the stuff of the real game. Now let's join the trade in progress. Hey guys, Czar here again. Hope all is well. It's 10:56. Just got out of a trade. Was eventually stopped out after hitting 1.5R here on the NASDAQ. And now you can see that we have reverted, right? VWAP reversions back to VWAP here on the S&P and the Dow, tagging it to the pip or to the point, if you will, failing to, again, NASDAQ being the weakest, not quite getting there on the NASDAQ. Got a bit of a divergence happening right here with a sell-off on the NASDAQ. Well, you saw that here too on the Dow and the S&P, but rallying a little bit here on the Dow, but failing to on the NASDAQ. Again, NASDAQ behaving the weakest of the three for now. So I'm watching these. I will certainly be revising my zones here. You notice this one here. This is the Dow. I'm just going to revise down a little bit. I'll delete this zone marker. It's no longer valid or required. This zone marker, I'm going to drop all the way down to here and leave the others where they are. This is the S&P and now the NASDAQ. Here's the NASDAQ, the one that I was just short. That's just my alarm. Deleting this one, dropping this one down to right there. You can delete this arrow. And now we'll be watching from here on these revised and refreshed zones. Very important to do that, by the way, and I hope you do it in your trading as well. Back to the three sisters. What are we seeing? A little bit of a sell-off now, having come into the VWAP and tapped it. Dow trying to stay up here. I'll put you on pause for now, guys, and bring you back as things develop. Maybe we'll have a setup. Maybe we won't. Reality is, it's 2 minutes to 11. 11:30. Europe is closed. All of it. Some of it closes at 11, and so that's in 2 minutes. And we start to move into the twilight zone or the lunch hour at that point, and things get a little bit grindy or range bound very often, not always, but very often. So we'll come back and see what's going on. On pause now. All right, guys, we're back watching these round over now into the twilight zone. I don't normally trade too much during the twilight zone unless I see something pretty compelling. Not convinced I'm seeing it yet, but I am watching. All right, guys. Sell stop. Sell stop. Looking at a short again. I was already short today. Sell stop right there. I'm going to refine the markers in a bit. Stop above 47 points. Here we go. Waiting patiently here. And I'm in, guys, and I'm in. Actual entry is over here, as you saw. Whoops, one more. There you go. Right above this little wick that you see here will be my stop. It's just a little structural entry based on what I'm seeing here on this flipping 30-minute candle and what I see on the three sisters. I'll show that to you in a moment. And I'll explain this in as much detail as possible. It's a fairly unusual time for me to enter a trade, but not altogether out of the question on a day like this. There we go. It's 11:25, guys. 11:25. We're 5 minutes away from Europe being completely closed in terms of regular trading hours for the day. It is Wednesday. There's my first and primary target at 1R. I'll put you on pause and bring you back. And target 1 has been hit. So the 1R, although nothing trader, has exited the trade with full profitability. Of course, the 2R move stop to break even at 1R has now moved their stop to break even. They will either have a break-even result or a 2R. and the other traders are waiting to see what happens. Now, just a reminder, guys, what this trade is. This is a twilight zone trend continuation trade. I want to bring you over to the 30-minute chart to show you what this is all about. Fairly self-explanatory, I would hope, but big impulse wave down that began actually in the pre-market. I was tempted to look at this as a reversal opportunity in the pre-market. Since I don't trade the pre-New York, I avoided it. Felt like I was missing this whole move, and certainly did miss a good portion of it until I jumped in here with a momentum trade, and that's the video beside this one, of course, on YouTube. But the drive down, the attempted rally back up, and then failing, folding over, and driving down. A big part of this, of course, is what happened here in VWAP, and I sent this hint to my Telegram group here as we rallied back up. This is the NASDAQ on the far left. Basically tagged VWAP here. We tagged and surpassed VWAP on the S&P and surpassed quite a bit here on the Dow, all at around the same time. This is a VWAP reversion move, VWAP reversion, and surpassing here on the Dow. But when the S&P failed to remain above and then broke down below, I got interested. The Dow has been doing its own thing today, kind of marching to its own drummer. But the weakest of the three, again, as we heard this morning, is the NASDAQ. And so when it began to falter, the NASDAQ was what I was looking to short. Now, I want to anticipate any questions that I might have, and I've been doing that lately, and I've been getting a lot of very positive feedback on it. So let me try to get into your head and wonder what you might be questioning. One of them, I think, is why would I be selling into this key support zone? Well, here's why. This is not a key support zone. It's a zone marker that I put in there myself. Let me delete it. And now what do you see? Well, you don't see anything over here. This is actually clean traffic, right? So that zone marker that I put in there was just to say, you'll notice where it was positioned, by the way. Let me actually bring it all the way back so you can see. There you go. Notice it doesn't go anywhere. It's not actually a support zone from anywhere except for 2 candles earlier, right? It's just this move here, and it's pausing, and so I put this in as a potential bottom or a fresh zone, but that didn't materialize at all, especially going into the twilight zone and the VWAP reversions that we just saw up here. So there's no other way to look at this, really, as far as I can see and as far as I can tell. What else? Why would I trade during the twilight zone? Well, as I tell my group often, I sometimes trade the twilight zone when the price action is compelling and on interesting days. This is an interesting day with the daily here breaking yesterday's low and also taking out a key support zone on the daily. So the support zone is not here, it's down here. And this move is very important and shows the sign of continued weakness here on a day where we are down nearly 2% on the NASDAQ here on the futures contracts, of course. Dow is actually up a little bit, which just shows you how it's doing something very different here. It's up just marginally, basically flat on the day. You see that? 0.07% positive. So now we wait. I'm going to be playing this weakness here for as long as it will hold, and we'll take it from there. I'll bring you back, guys, back on pause. And target 2 has been hit, 1.5 hour. So the 1.5 hour all or nothing trader has left the game with full profitability. Looks like we want to drive down a little bit more here. We'll see. Sort of coming out of the twilight zone now. It's 12:42. 1 o'clock to me is the kind of official end of twilight zone, but we often see a little bit of volume coming in here in that 15-minute segment leading into 1, and it's almost there now, 12:42. And we're finally done, guys. The target 3 2R has been hit. All 4 models have made full profitability here today. We never did come back to break even after tapping a 1R, and so again, all 4 have profited. 94.5 points here on the NASDAQ, guys. Big trade. Took a long time. I actually switched to a 2-minute chart here, you can see, to divide the number of candles in half because I want to be able to fit them on here in the chart so you can see how long we waited for this. Entered at 11:24, and it is now It is now, what time is it? It's 1:04, so you get the idea. It's coming out of the twilight zone. Now we're getting that momentum that we often see. Just to reiterate, guys, bearish daily, very bearish daily, flipping over here, of course, a long time ago and breaking yesterday's low. Bearish daily, bearish impulse wave down here. Took that leg, I shorted that leg if you remember. That's the video beside this one. Waited for the pullback to VWAP, failure to hit VWAP, and then rounding over and coming back down for a continuation. This is a trend continuation trade. Let me just show it to you here on this chart as well, and you'll see it fairly clearly here. Impulse down, corrective up to VWAP, right, and then driving down again. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing afternoon. I'm sure we'll see you again either today or certainly tomorrow. Appreciate you saying hi in the comments and for clicking that like button and notification bell. Apparently it helps the algorithm, and I do appreciate it. Take care, guys. We'll talk soon.